wounded, alone, and afraid. Those are the circumstances under which Mall Trash finds himself. Trapped inside the Grand Ohio Mall, with no escape and with zombies closing in from all sides. Will he survive and adapt, or become another victim of the Nox infection? Welcome back to Project Zomboid. Today, I will be putting a new spin on a challenge that has been tried and tested by many greats. Surviving the Grand Ohio Mall is not usually the hardest challenge. While it is interesting to play without ever leaving, it's definitely not as hard as some things I've done before. That's why I've added about 50 mods, many of which are very difficult to survive, including Horde Nights, The Darkness, Toxic Fog, and Deadly Fog. Additionally, I am playing as Mall Trash, a highly min-maxed character built specifically for this run. However, it should be noted that he is in fact a raging schizophrenic. The first day was actually quite different from most challenges. This time around, I had no idea just how many zombies were around me, and I had no idea where safety was. Since I was going to be inside the mall the entire time, I decided to play without my minimap for once, which also meant I couldn't see zombie locations. Immediately upon spawning in, I already knew where I would make my base. The helipad would be one of the easiest places to secure in the mall, especially when those Horde Nights started rolling in. Aside from the fact that I could use a sledgehammer to take down the stairs and then only climb up and down with a ladder, I could also use the helipad to grow crops. If it rained, I could probably plant some gravel or whatever on top of the helipad and then put seeds in there. I could already tell Restless Zombies was going to be most of my troubles for this run, especially considering the fact that I am in fact in the middle of Louisville, which means that even if I do manage to kill every single zombie inside the mall, thousands more will be moving my way each day. But that was an issue for later. In the meantime, I explored the hallways and back doors of the mall, taking care of the few opposition that was here. All around me I could hear zombies groaning and banging on doors, and I knew everything was just about 300 times worse on the other side of these walls. I actually found a large backpack fairly early on, which kind of made it useless for me to start with a hiking bag instead of food or something else. But I'm not going to complain about it. I returned to my base and started putting away some items, mainly the camping kit I had spawned with. These gunshots, which spike my adrenaline, aren't actually real. These are part of the schizophrenic trait. Anytime you hear this or my character laughing, it means that I'm going insane. Another very fun mechanic of the schizophrenia trait is the fact that I'm going to have hallucinations. Sometimes I will see a zombie that isn't actually there, freak out and drop my weapons. But on the other hand, I just found the Alice Pack. The Alice Pack is pretty much a large military backpack, however, it can be upgraded, making it even better, giving you extra slots in your hotbar and more storage space. At this point, I started my garbage collecting part of my usual Zomboid survival runs. Essentially, I will go around these trash piles and take out any garbage cans and water bottles so I can fill them up for when the water goes out. The garbage bags are going to be used to make rain collector barrels. And speaking of water, I just found a water dispenser. I was probably going to steal most water dispensers from offices and whatnot and bring them back up to my base. And the sounds were definitely not making me feel very comfortable in here. While I was checking the corpse pile I had created, I actually found a key. I decided that this little room would be where I would set up my cure lab. And, if need be, I could also use it to cook, if you know what I mean. I went back up and put away my new loot. I was probably going to need to steal some more storage containers for here, if I was going to keep this up. I painted a biohazard sign onto the side of my base. This didn't even make sense since this wasn't where I was going to make the vaccine. But it just looked cool at the time and I wasn't putting too much thought into it anyways. I then found a little back-end storage area. It had plenty of mechanics equipment, but it would be very useful for storing loot later down the line. Especially since it was right next to my lab, I could probably just put in here all of the equipment, alongside some other assorted loot if I really had to. After getting one of the scariest jump scares I've had, I realized something else. Since the mall interior is pretty much always dark, it wouldn't really affect me too much if my sleep schedule was horrendous. At worst, I would need to be bringing a flashlight out, but there would definitely be enough batteries in the mall to keep me going for a long time. Additionally, most of the mall would probably be safe from toxic fog events, as those will not affect you indoors unless there's a broken window. I decided to go down to the end of the hallway. There was a door being guarded by a couple of zombies, but it was manageable. The loot here wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I found some nails, batteries, and a couple of radios, and then started to laugh like the psychopath I am. However, I found gravel. Gravel would be particularly important to me if I wanted to start farming, or if I wanted to eat worms. I made my way back up to my base, but on the way there I remembered that I broke a window to get in. In order to fix this, I decided to pick up some metal sheets that were on the floor from when zombies broke down a door. I could use these to seal the hole in my wall and essentially have another airtight space. I got up to my base and started putting away items. I had found a hazmat suit, but unfortunately it had a hole, so I wouldn't be able to use it to stay safe during the toxic fog. The first day was starting to come to an end. I had enough food to last me, but if I really wanted to make it out of here alive, I was gonna have to consider raiding some of the larger food stores. I also started placing garbage all over the place because I can. As I had mentioned before, the mall's interior is almost always dark, meaning that until I get drowsy, I can pretty much be active inside. In this room I found not only another water dispenser, but also a mini fridge and a microwave. I was just doing another quick loot drop-off when I realized this room doesn't have a light switch for some reason, which meant I would have to go out of my way to find a lamp just so I could see in here at night. I then added more graffiti to my walls because I could. Finally, I decided I was tired enough and went inside to sleep, ending the first day. On day 2, I decided I would start moving deeper into the mall. After all, I wasn't gonna be able to survive with just the limited resources of the nearby area. The interior of the mall can be particularly dangerous. Zombies could be hiding around every corner, in the thousands. Hordes would roam the indoor streets every day. Whenever I moved around, I would have to be extremely careful to not get caught up. Immediately upon exiting the first office block, I saw hundreds of zombies coming towards me. In a location this small, or probably more zombies than in the entirety of Riverside. This would mean that walking around the mall would not be easy. It would essentially be akin to walking around a normal city, except I'm closed in. And if I get cornered, instead of being able to run away through maybe a building or a back street, I would have to jump down onto another street filled with even more zomboids. Without access to my minimap, I wouldn't be able to know whether the shop I was about to enter was completely full of zombies hiding around the corner or secure. I did a quick sweep of this electronics store. There wasn't much of value, but there were speakers. I could transform these into noisemakers in the future. During this fight, I found a headhunter zombie. While this would normally just be cool, for me it's exceptionally useful as the headhunter zombie has a gas mask. I can use gas masks with filters to completely bypass the toxic fog events. I then found another gas mask, which meant that even if I lost one, I would have a backup. I made my way into the little restaurant or bakery or whatever this is. All that mattered was that I was about to collect some pie. I could leave these in my fridge for later as they're very good at combating my depression. While trying to get a Sita hazmat suit, I got another thing that happens with the schizophrenia trait. Whenever I attack a zombie, there's a chance I'll hear my own clothes rip, even though I wasn't hit. I then stole one of the zombies' helmets. Mainly due to mods like Authentic Z and Breedus, I was going to have a lot of different costumes around me, especially with the amount of zombies in the mall. I then got a first-hand demonstration of why tailoring is good. If I was gonna avoid taking damage, I was definitely gonna have to consider adding leather padding to my clothes. After unequipping some unnecessary clothes, I got right back into the fight, starting off by killing Paul Blart. Each new shop I walked by had at least 20 zombies in it. This was bad, especially if I wasted a lot of energy fighting off the zombies, only to be met with a toy store of all things. Unlike his namesake, Maltrash actually has really good stats, mainly in Longblade, which makes him an absolute beast with swords and machetes. This is of course thanks to the Insurgent Profession mod. And that metal pipe was also part of the schizophrenia trait. As I said earlier, toy shops are going to be the absolute bane of my existence. They are completely useless to me. I also took out a military juggernaut zombie. They're pretty cool, but the armor wouldn't really be of any use to me as it's a bit too heavy for me. I headed back up my base and started to organize some of the new loot I had just found. Then I decided I should add leather padding to my clothes as I said I would do earlier. Before I did that though, I quickly had the idea to reinforce my lab's windows. I also made a sheet to put on the door, just because it could come in handy. While I was in the mood for tailoring, I upgraded my Alice pack. Now fully armored up, I was ready to go back to my main base and finally get some sleep.